What is going on, everyone? Lauren Sisler here with ESPN, hanging out with Mike the Real McCoy. Mike there in his gym, Maximum Performance in Bessemer, getting ready to lift some weights, pump some iron, and train some athletes, because that's what former athletes do. I don't know. Mike's still an athlete. I think he's pretty legit. Believe it or not, week 12 of the college football season. We got a little bit to talk about. Alabama getting a win over Ole Miss, heading into Austin Peay this week, and then we're 1 week away from the Iron Bowl, one of the greatest rivalries in college football, my friend.
The greatest rivalry in football.
Okay, the greatest rivalry in college football. All right, we're going to break some things down here on another episode of Head to Head.
Oh, let's go now.
All right, so Mike McCoy, week 11 of the season, Alabama on the road against Ole Miss. And let's be real, coming out of the gate, Alabama obviously suffered the loss against LSU. The question was, how are they going to respond to this Ole Miss team? And we know Ole Miss was fighting for a spot in the SEC West, hoping to make it to the SEC championship game. So the game was on the line for them. And Alabama fell behind early, fell behind by double digits, just trying to get into a rhythm, figure things out on the offense, defensively, some of those mistakes and miscues. Down by double digits. And then the second half, they came out to play and ended up winning the game 30-24. And what I love is that Saban said that he challenged his team before the game to play to the standard and to take it personal. How did you see this Alabama football team in that Ole Miss game take it personal?
Well, they didn't take it personal early. I can tell you that. The way them boys, Ole Miss, drove it down our throat. I definitely thank God that they made adjustments. I'm not talking about Alabama. I thank God that Ole Miss took the foot off the gas, because I feel like if they continue attacking us down the field, running the ball, throwing the ball, Jonathan Mingo, I would have felt like Bama should have done a better job with bracketing him. Thank God the running back didn't get loose as he should have or could have. I don't think that we controlled the line of scrimmage. Did we get the win? Yes. I'm ecstatic about it. But I think what it turned when Bryce and Coach Saban rallied the troops and do what I've been talking about the whole time. Gave them boys a good old-fashioned butt chewing. You know what I really wanted to say. But just like Coach Saban won't repeat what was said in that huddle, let's just say that's what those guys needed. A restart button, and just let them know nobody's afraid of playing you. Set the standard. Go back to the old Bama way. So I think we skated away from that. A win is a win for sure, but I'm glad. But I don't think we bullied the line of scrimmage on either side like we should have done.
And I think you make fair points, though. And Nick Saban said the big thing that we wanted to get our players to do is take that responsibility for the identity that you create. It's personal in terms of how you play, how you compete in the game, how you dominate against the opponent. And obviously he highlighted that being the case in the second half. And I think what's just interesting is, Alabama has lost 2 games, and it's been a long time since they've lost 2 consecutive. So obviously that was, kind of at stake in all this. But in the grand scheme of things, Alabama has lost 2 games, 2 very close, tight, hard, competitive football games against very good football teams. And yet it just feels to many that this is just a season that has just completely fallen apart. Alabama has nothing left to play for. And I think that's where Nick Saban has done a good job, and will have to continue doing a good job of reminding these players that, look, you play to the Bama standards. You can't go out here and just throw this season away. You can't hang your hats. You can't hang your heads just because you lost by a point or 2 points in a game against a really good football team. Right. And so this might not be what this Alabama football team is accustomed to. But let's be real. There's a lot of talent in the SEC, and the SEC is stacked. And so that talent has just continued to rise. And, things haven't always swung in Alabama's favor. And yes, some of it has been their own, at their own demise, shooting themselves in the foot with a lot of the miscues, the penalties that we talked about, having to clean things up. But on the flip side of that, some things just swing in favor of other teams, and that's the way it goes. And so the season is not all hope is lost. Obviously, the Iron Bowl is fast approaching, and there's a lot of exciting things to look for. I know right now Alabama is trending towards maybe a matchup with Clemson in the postseason. So we're looking forward to that. But with that being said, I do want to say I was very impressed with how Jace McClellan stepped up in that Ole Miss game in the absence of Jahmyr Gibbs, who twisted his ankle in the second half of the football game. So that'll be the key thing. I'd be anxious to see. Will we see Jahmyr Gibbs? Is it even necessary to see Jahmyr Gibbs this upcoming weekend in Tuscaloosa, which, by the way, I'll be covering that football game on the sidelines. Hooty hoo. So I'm excited. Home game for me, baby. I'm excited.
That's right.
So we'll be covering that one. But that'll be the big question. Bryce Young, steady as can be. I think that has been interesting to see just how he has continued to lead this football team and how he will continue to lead this football team. Keep in mind, it wasn't just about a month ago that he had a substantial shoulder injury. And that is something that, yes, I realize he got back. He was able to play against Tennessee, even though that was in question. But that's not just something you bounce back from. He's had to put in that work, and we don't even know if he's 100% healthy. And I'm sure at this point in the season, he's probably feeling a little banged up right now.
I agree 1,000% with you. I wish that Roydell Williams got more of an opportunity to play this game. I think you rest the guy. I think Bryce should play the first half, and then you see what Milroe is going to do. I think right now this is the thing that this should be a cleanup game where Bama goes and work on small things, the discipline things, get some consistency with the receivers. We have Matt Brooks has been playing amazing, but he needs some help. Bryce needs some help. The play calling, so a little bit more diversity. We just got to tighten up across the board. I know people get tired of me. Man, it sounds like you are old, mad Alabama. No, we're just talking facts. They still have a ton to fight for. They still have to establish themselves. Are we playing for a natty? No. But we need to be looking forward for next year. I think Coach Saban is smart enough to where I think he's going to tie things up. I think it's definitely going to be some moving pieces next year. So you heard it first from me.
I like it. Good insight there. And one thing I'll say when you talk about the ratings, right, for each athlete. I remember last spring, Nick Saban talking about, especially as we're kind of turning into this new landscape of college football, him talking about specifically how, when you recruit 5-star guys, sometimes it can be hard because these are guys that have never sat on the bench, never had to wait their turn, even from Little League, Pop Warner, whatever it is. They have been the star of the show from day one. And then when they come in, they expect to have that same treatment. And then suddenly they're asked to sit down, wait, learn, figure things out, wait their turn. And it doesn't always resonate well. And so trying to teach these guys that they've got to sit and wait and learn and develop and grow and play at a different speed than they've ever been accustomed to ever. And in their careers is super important. So it does take some time and some patience and kind of working through that. One last thing before I let you give our by the way, I'm covering the game. Can't give you all a prediction, but I do want to give a shout out. I think Byron Young was really cool to see him stand out. In this matchup against Ole Miss, he had those 11 tackles, 2 for loss, 2 quarterback hurries. And he had said after the game, it became personal to all of us just because of what we saw people saying. And so, look, I get it. You try to turn out the outside noise. And I know that's something you talked about last week, turn off the cell phones, turn off the outside noise. And that's something I think Alabama's always been pretty good at. But I do think with NIL and some of all this other stuff going on, it's hard to get people to escape that, to step back. But I think that was the one thing he had said that kind of stood out to me. People just wrote us off and we want to play to that standard. And so I do think Nick Saban got through to those guys and really has helped that message resonate with them. And I think it'll be important against this Austin Peay football team that's going to come in. They're going to give Alabama their best, and they have not played an FBS opponent this season. But I think this is going to be a good cleanup game. As you said, hey, let's get some young guys in there, some less experienced guys in there as well to try to, get things going and give them experience heading into next season. Let's use this as an opportunity type of game, and then just get prepared for the Iron Bowl, because we know the Iron Bowl, with the way things are going over at Auburn on the Plains right now, they get their win over Texas A&M under interim coach Carnell Williams. They're playing with some heart right now, and I'm not we won't get into that matchup just yet, but let's just put it this way. I think Alabama and Auburn are going to play with a lot of heart when it comes to Iron Bowl week that we know we've always circled on the calendar each and every year. So 11 a.m. kickoff for that game, and I'll be on the sidelines. So, Mike, what's your prediction?
All right, my prediction. I actually got a kid over at Austin Peay, so he's going to play well. He's been actually playing well this whole year.
What positions do you play?
Play safety, Corey Chapman. Special kid.
All right, we'll be looking for Corey Chapman.
Yeah.
Shout out to Corey.
Yeah, Corey going to ball out. Man, give me 63-7.
Whoa, we're going back to the old high flying Alabama football, right? High score.
I pray. I hope so. I mean, I'm out on a limb on this one, but I'm praying.
All right, Mike, you enjoy it. I'll see you soon.
Peace. Have a good one.
Brought to you by Alabama Beef Farmers and Ranchers.